you started.
Go
They
ahead, baby.
missed me altogether. They had 3 seconds.
Okay, go ahead.
Come on, love. You already 30 minutes late.
First of all,
Praise God.
not today. Not
Go back.
today.
What's it called?
Not today. Not today. Not today, Mr. Trench.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. I wanted some wine.
Moscato, huh?
Oh no, that's not doing what I needed to do.
Put it in your right hand, baby. And just.
It's not doing what I wanted to do anyway. Good evening, She Shackers. How are you? Welcome to the She Shack. It is Thankful Tuesday. I am so happy to be here with y'all tonight. We are going to get started momentarily. So let me just let y'all in on a few things that's been going on in the She Shack. First of all, we have some new equipment. Second of all, we done kind of moved some things around and changed the lighting. And we were attempting to fix it, whereas Trench was no longer in the camera, like actually starting it when we came on live. Well, and also we got a little fancy, got ourselves a teleprompter tonight to try to get things kind of like rolling. So I want you to bear with us because we have like a few things going on, not really technical difficulties, but for them to be able to kind of like read their lines and stuff like that. But anyway, they like to freelance it in the She Shack. But today is Thankful Tuesday. Thankful Tuesday. And so I wanted to share a story with y'all about Thankful Tuesday. But before we do all of that, before we do any of that, we got to introduce the co-host. We got to introduce the co-host to, not a really introduction, but a kind of like an introduction. Because every Tuesday when we have the beautiful, the one and only, my mom sitting with us on the She Shack, and we also have my husband, aka a Kennedy Cougar, 17th Ward, woo woo woo, Mr. Trench in the She Shack tonight. And so we're gonna get our show started. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is that it being Thankful Tuesday. And it's really my favorite day, honestly.
Thankful Tuesday, your favorite day?
It's my favorite day.
Why is that?
Because it kind of it reminds me of that there's always something to be thankful for, like all the time. It reminds me that no matter like what's going on, no matter how crazy the day might go, no matter what the situation is, at the end of the day, I always have something to be thankful for. So with that in mind, if you think about what would you say, thinking about reflecting on your day, what would be some of the things you think that you were thankful for today?
That I woke up this morning and he started me
He's
on
starting
my way.
already.
Ain't God good? Yes, he is. Praise him. Let me know, baby. Woo! Thank you, Holy Ghost. Woo!
Well, you asked him.
Yeah. That's the best thing. Ooh,
This is every week. I swear. It's every week. Maybe I should have started over. What do you think? Or you want to break out with one too? So what are you thankful for today?
I'm thankful for what he's thankful for.
I swear, take how good God is. God rolled over and holla. Opened my eyes and said, "Ooh, that's the ceiling fan. Thank you, Lord. I can see. God is good. God is good." Woo.
Well, on a serious note,
I am serious. That's a heart attack.
Well, we don't want you to have one of those.
The delivery seemed a little comical.
But
I was gonna say
that's something to be thankful for.
I was absolutely, to wake up is definitely something to be thankful for. Absolutely.
That wasn't me. That was her. That wasn't me.
So I actually was scrolling on Facebook, somebody that we are familiar with. So one of my girlfriends, Tanisha, her daughter Titi, I saw her put a post on Facebook, and she put a post on Facebook showing that her house had caught a fire, while her and her children was actually in the house.
That's the one that do the crochet.
Yes. Yep. So
Crochet.
her.
That is it, right?
Yeah. So her and her kids were in the house at the time that the house caught a fire.
Okay.
And her, I think her husband was in between. I don't know, but he had put a post also saying I wasn't going to stop by, but I decided to stop by, and it was a good thing I did because TT and the kids was in the bed, and the house was on fire.
This happened at nighttime.
I'm not sure of the hour of the day, but from what it looked like it was dark.
Okay.
So I see it on Facebook, and I'm like, oh my god, you know, honestly, when you look at it, it looks like total devastation. So I call and I call and I call, and I finally get her on the phone, and she says, oh, I'm okay. She doesn't sound distraught. She doesn't sound, you know, like what you're seeing, like the devastation of what you're actually seeing on the videos. It didn't look anything like that. And so today I'm scrolling on Facebook, and I see her put another post up, and she's just like pouring her heart out and saying how people have reached out to her, people that she didn't even know, sending out cash apps and things of that nature to like offer help to her and her children. But what was the most amazing thing about the story for me was that she did not go into a moment of feeling like she was in despair. In fact, what she did was she was saying, well, the fire woke me up. That so what it is, God, you have my attention now. And that I see things clearly. And she did not give a lot of credit to the material things that was lost. She was more or less saying, and the, you know, the small or the minute material things that are lost all could be replaced in a moment where we're talking about a mother of three children who has completely devastation, lost everything, but
she didn't lose. She didn't lose everything.
Well, when you think of material things, you think of your home and your earthly possessions. Those are all wiped out. Right. But what she in turn saw a silver lining, and more or less was like, I'm woke now. You know, and so when I saw that, it was like, sometimes we can complain about the smallest things, and when you look at someone that has lost their home, that is totally displaced with their three children, staying in different hotels and not even complaining. Just like, I don't even have a complaint. I'm good. I'm really good.
I guess she looked at the big picture, but I mean, yeah, she lost all her earthly possessions, but her children had walked away from the devastation of the fire. You know, I guess she's looking at it as, you know, all these earthly things I got, I can replace. But I can't replace my kids.
No, I get that part. But what I'm also saying, like, just think about, like, say for instance, you know, your house caught a fire, somebody steals your car, like, you're gonna be like, oh my god, somebody stole my car, or somebody, you know, whatever. Like, the initial response is, my house is on fire, or somebody stole my car, or what. But it was not that. So it was, to me, it just made me feel like, be thankful even in those times when you facing adversity. Don't look at the difficulty or the situation per se, because in the situation there's still something to be thankful for.
Absolutely.
And that's what, like, when it just was like,
sound like she had one of them
aha moments,
them Bible stories, you know, when the three Hebrew boys was
in the fiery furnace.
In the fiery furnace.
Are we going?
And she had a calm, peace be still. That was the fourth person in there. Walked out untouched. Beautiful.
TT, if you watching this video, I'm gonna need you to pop in on this live and come.
Well, you know what? I think probably initially, you know, I'm almost certain initially when her husband stopped by and woke them up and got them out the house, you know, she might have was in shock, you know. Any number of things could have happened in that instant, in that moment. But as she got the opportunity to really think about it, and then she's looking at the fact that not only God spared her life, he spared her kid's life. So
Mm-hmm.
now, God, you got my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
Absolutely.
how I'm looking at it, you
Yeah.
know. So, because it tells you earthly things can be replaced.
Well, I mean,
So
I'm not.
that's
I'm
how
not discre-
I'm not looking from it from a biblical standpoint of view. That is not what I'm doing. I'm looking at it through the eyes of a mother. Okay, you think about it through the eyes of a mother. You know, all these other things that I done accumulated all through time. Yes, those are all my memories and everything. All that stuff got lost in the fire. Yes, a lot of that stuff is irreplaceable. Yes, it is. You know, materialistic thing, you know, pictures and all this other good stuff, you know, baby shoes, booties, and blankets and stuff that you might have saved over the time. Maybe even a Christmas card that your kid might have made when they was in the fifth grade in kindergarten or whatever the case may
You're
be.
not paying attention to the screen.
Uh-huh. Oh, she's already running. She's running. She's going. She's
Yes.
going.
So, okay,
Ooh.
well, you know, this is new to me. Y'all should have told me to come a little bit earlier so I could read the screen.
Now
But
you got
anyway,
to read it.
TT,
She got to
my
read it.
heart goes out to you and your kids and your family, and I'm sorry that devastation happened to you, but I am truly happy that
God is
God got your
good.
attention. God is good.
So on a
Okay.
different note, on a kind of like in light of going with that, today again, Thankful Tuesday, and every day we have something set aside. But today we had a quote that went along with. Did y'all see the quote?
I saw a bunch of stuff you had posted
Mm-mm,
on
that's
there.
not. Did you see the quote?
Uh, this quote relates to you.
Excuse me one second. We're live. Whoever that is.
My bad.
Did you see the quote? I didn't see the quote.
I don't know.
I didn't see the quote, baby. I'm sorry.
I was about to say hi.
So, um, let me take this back
Okay.
because
What we going back to, baby? You about to do the quote?
Yeah, go
there's
ahead.
the quote.
Trading your what? Read it, baby.
The quote of today is from an author by the name of Jen Sincero. And she says, and it really was talking about how sometimes we can get caught up in regular stuff that we lose direction of what's really important. So it said trading your drama about how you can't have what you want. For grateful people expecting miracles will walk into their life, and a commonplace those miracles will become.
Oh, that was on your post today. I read that.
Mm-hmm. I saw
Yes,
that too.
I read that.
I even shared it. Praise God.
I read that.
So I thought it was like really it really went with the theme for today, which is Thankful Tuesday.
Mhm.
And it also kind of just bring things in perspectives, because I know for me, honestly, transparently, like for me, it's like if stuff start going wrong, I'm immediately able will be like reactive, and that's like my human nature. So sometimes I'm able to tap into my thoughts, because I'm a work in progress, and I'll say, not today, devil, not today, and oh no, like no thoughts, like to get them out of my head. But then there are times when I'm in stressful strenuous situations, and it will be like fall right into the immediate response of what it will be. Like for an example, there was one particular time I was at work, and I'm working. I'm the only nurse. I got nearly 40 plus patients, and two aides, right? And I'm pissed. I'm angry about it because it's put me in a position where I'm not able to control. I mean, to provide proper care to the people that I'm caring. I can't possibly do what I would typically do when the load is doubled. And the expectation was for a superior, somebody on call, or somebody to come and help me. And they left me with the idea that they would. Somebody was coming to help, but the person that they sent couldn't even get on the floor. So I'm angry, and it wasn't. My first thought wasn't, "Oh God, please help them," or "Oh God, please help me." My first thought was, "This some, you know what? And somebody need to get it together."
Here's your badge. Here's your keys.
So when
Did you figure it out?
yeah, so when I saw her, it was inspiring to me. It literally was like, yo, if she can do that in the face of losing her home and every possession that's in it and walking away with the clothes on her back, there's no reason like to be so reactive in certain situations.
Right.
That was my takeaway from that.
Okay.
Also, today is equal pay. Equal pay day. It's equal pay day.
Equal pay for what?
It is equal pay day today.
What you mean? Clarify that. What we talking about? Equal pay.
First of all, as we spoke about last week when we were celebrating International Women's Day, and I thought we had this discussion last week about the efforts of women to be treated fairly and equally in the workplace.
But they don't treat y'all fairly and equally. That's why y'all not got y'all in certain workplaces. Y'all not paid fairly and equally.
Yeah, but I don't understand why, because a lot of time we are the head of the household. So I don't get it why we can't be paid fairly and equally. They pay y'all uh, with the interpretation that because y'all are supposed to be the head of the household, then y'all have to make more money so y'all can pay the bill. Well, what happened to the mother who is the head of the household and who has to pay all the bills? So why can't she be paid fairly and equally?
Well, that's nobody actually calls it Tia China over that one because I wasn't talking about that.
Well, that's what we're talking
about.
Because like employment, we ain't talking about head of household and all that. But if you're in an establishment, you ain't working, and I say it all the time, working with the post office. You in the warehouse working, you're throwing boxes. They have a man throwing boxes. They're throwing boxes. But when they move that man out of that work area, they put a female in that same spot to throw them boxes. You know what she get? A helper. Well, if that's the case, why is she getting equal pay than that man that didn't have a helper? Equal pay, equal work. Gotta be the same. Now, if she throwing the same boxes, then rightfully so, she should have equal pay.
So you think the man should get paid more because he can lift heavier boxes?
No, all I'm saying is that if you're in the same job as I am in, we are equal. So if you're going to get help, I'm going to get help to lift that same
Well,
box.
go get you some help.
If they don't want to give me
then
help,
that's an issue that you take up with your employer, not the woman.
That's what the thing would be, because they would be like, okay, now we got to hire extra body for her. Well, what about extra body for him? So it works. Feminism is about equality. That's nothing equality about having a helper to help that female. Now, granted, but that's a job that she chose to do. That's why I tell people that if you're when the supervisors is talking to the male handlers, you're a male handler. You're not a male or a female. I see a male handler.
Well, from a point of view as a nurse, if you have a male, just because he's a male, he get paid more. But you ain't lifting no boxes heavier than me. You ain't turning somebody heavier than I am. And 9 times out of 10, when you go in the room to do personal care to a woman, You got to have somebody else in the room with you.
But it
So
works-
at the end of the day, you talking about make it equal, make it equal. You can look at it from both
The same
sides.
way.
You can look at it either way. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter if you're a man or a woman. If you are hired as a nurse, whatever the nurse's pay is, you get that pay. If you hired as an engineer, whatever the engineer's pay is, you get that pay. Now,
don't get me wrong.
If you as the employer hire a woman that's 110 pounds and you got 75-pound boxes that need to be moved, then you must have already realized that you was gonna have to make some alterations. Because 110-pound woman, that's more than twice her weight.
If she checked that box and she could lift up to 75 pounds,
then she can lift them.
Then she can lift them. She need no help.
Then if she can lift them.
And if she can't lift them, you gotta move them on. But the thing about femininity,
we ain't even get there yet, but you trying to hurry and we gonna get there because I knew you was gonna come with some foolishness.
Yes, I had to. It's not just a female thing. It's equality across the board. Whether it's male issue or female issue,
but the fact
is, issue and all that.
Listen, the fact is, women have been fighting for equal rights and equal pay since when? Revolutionary War times?
I know they should give y'all a rifle and have out there shooting. I like stirring the pot up.
You about to be kicked out of here.
Stir it up, Trent. Stir it up.
Wow. Okay.
That's why women ought to belong in 2 places, goddamn it. 2 places.
And what are those?
Praise God, praise God.
Excuse me?
Huh?
What are those?
I don't know because
she done moved on to the next.
No, I really want to hear what
I want to know what they are.
I want to know how you gonna get that though.
I want to know what they are. You
I
said
swear.
2 places.
What
are
are 2
they?
places?
I'm still trying to figure it out. Still trying to figure out how to do with that.
Oh, you know you had to go upstairs and go to sleep tonight, not
I think the question is then, are you a male chauvinist? Because you know that's a very
chauvinistic statement.
Very.
I'm an equal opportunity. I'm an EEO person.
Mm-hmm.
You're an equal opportunity person.
So same 2 places.
You're an equal opportunity person that's who's chauvinistic.
I'm not chauvinistic, but see the problem is.
Okay, what is the problem?
We gonna go there.
That's not on the color problem. Since
you want to go there, let's go there.
Yeah, I want to hear.
We tend to today's society, today's life. We tend to take away what in a relationship
what does the relationship got to do with equal pay?
Hear me out. You actually go there, but go there. They keep saying
what?
All this stuff. The man got to cut the grass. The man got to take the trash out. The man got to open the doors and all that. But the female goddess stuff goes out the door. The female does that out of kindness of their heart.
What the female do out of the kindness of their heart?
Well, back in the day, that stuff, since we're going there, the man got to do all this manly stuff was because back in the day was what that was established for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Uncle Steve Harvey. I'm gonna have Uncle Steve Harvey to come and critique this video
back in the day, what was the women's responsibility?
To walk through the door. You open it, so it's our responsibility to walk through it.
To cook every day, to clean every day, and all that stuff. But now, being that today's society, women don't. That goes out the door now.
Them women wasn't working outside the house and working them as many hours as y'all. As many as y'all. And if you want to go there, you want to go there. I just want to know if you want to go there.
We just talking about.
We just talking because I just want to know we gonna go there.
I'm gonna drink my
I want to know.
I should have got some hard liquor.
Yeah, you need some hard liquor so you can blame that on something because that is not the truth.
That's a mess.
That's exactly what that is.
Now chauvinist in my foot.
Well, I still don't understand what that have to do with equal pay.
At all.
That's equal work.
Nah, buddy. Because you know why it's not equal work? Let me explain it to you.
So
why it's not equal work.
You don't clean much, huh, Mr. Trent?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? The job at home is not easy. We have to wash the dishes. We have to clean the clothes. We have to feed the children. We have to teach the children. We have to clean your clothes.
But the thing, the thing about that is this:
we have to cook,
the
scrub,
problem I
clean,
have
and
with all of
provide.
that, the problem I have with that is that they make it that it's a woman's duty to do it.
It
Like,
ain't our
our
duty.
That's the
duty
same
to
thing
clean
with
the
the
house
man.
and stuff like that, and it's not. They assign gender to cooking and cleaning,
That's all
and
I'm
that's
saying.
not a gender-based thing.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a life skill.
I just made it sound rough, but that's the same thing I'm saying.
You ain't say that.
Yes, I did.
You did not.
You put butter on it. I just came wrong.
No, you didn't say
you know
that
what?
at all.
You know
you
what?
already assigned
I
it
think
to
this
gender,
is what I
and
think.
It should not be.
You know what? This is what I think. This is what I think. Okay, this is what I think. Okay, because of the fact back in the day, all right, primarily the woman stayed at home, took care of the kids, cleaned the house, and all this other stuff, and our male figure went out there, worked, brought the bread in, paid all the bills and everything. So then, as time went on, it became this is what the woman needs to be doing. Nah, buddy. That is not necessarily what the woman needs to be doing. It is what we need to be doing. If we're going to be a team, then we need to be a team. If I sweep the floor, you get the mop, okay? Right. If I separate the clothes, you put them in the washing machine.
You see how you don't stop nodding that head over there?
Okay. So it's a team effort,
right?
Honey.
It should be. Should be, but it's assigned to gender, which hey, no, Bubba, no. You need to go get your yak.
You can take this glass because I can't have that. Here.
Yeah, you need to go get your yak. You over here.
So it's a team effort. It's not an assigned duty.
It should not be.
It should not be.
Absolutely right. It should not be an assigned duty.
Can I ask you a question though, Trench? Because I really want to know.
Because I know some guys that clean houses and cook meals better than that one woman.
Because it's a life skill. It's a life skill. It's not supposed to be assigned to a gender. It's not supposed to be, because she's the woman, she's supposed to do the cleaning, and because I'm the man, I'm supposed to do. Because like he so graciously pointed out about oh well, a man is supposed to cut the grass and a man's supposed to do this and a man's supposed to do that. Let me just remind you how I used to get out in the front yard and cut the grass.
And you was sexy too. You was sexy doing that. Ooh, I saw that.
And just like it has to have men.
I can't with him. I can't with him.
Women have crossed so many barriers. You see, they just had a large effort to push women through to be pilots. You see women as mechanics. You see women as firefighters. You see women in positions where typically there were male-dominated roles. Right. But the fact is they have fought for over 50 years to get rights to not only get into those positions and work, but to also be paid fairly in those positions.
Correct.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
And that's the rough part about it, that we still in 23 talking about equal pay, equal.
Exactly.
Equal, right?
And then you got to realize how many positions that a woman had to step into when the men went off to war. Okay.
Every position. Because you was the woman and the man. You was the mother and the father.
You have to step into at that particular time. And then this is the other cute part about it. When we stepped in that position, y'all expected us to continue to do it.
Oh, that part.
Okay.
Oh, that part.
I'm not know what you talk of.
Oh, that part. Yeah, that part.
I'm not know what you talk
of. Of course you wouldn't know what we're talking about now. But that part. That part. So, absolutely.
I was born in the 70s.
It doesn't matter if you was born yesterday. The statistics are still the same.
Right. This is a man's world.
Oh, so now you came to James Brown.
Well, what's the other part? Because the truth of the matter is that women rule the world.
The Republicans don't say the whole stuff anyway.
Also, you're a Republican?
No, equal opportunity.
You gonna vote for Donald Trump?
Republicans do it. Democrats do it too.
What that got to do with Republican and Democrat? They ain't got nothing to do with it.
Oh boy!
Stay with you. Stay with you. Okay.
So your thoughts on the struggles that women encounter is equal pay is what, Mr. Trench?
I think y'all should have equal pay. If you're doing equal work, you should have equal pay.
There's the big IF word in there with a big circle.
It shouldn't be
it.
no if.
Exactly.
Okay.
It shouldn't be no if.
Why it shouldn't be? If
It
you're
should
doing,
Because let me
It
ask
should
you.
not.
if you're doing the same work, you should have the same pay. That's straight across the board, male,
Period.
female.
Period. Don't matter if you got a helper
whether-
or not. You still doing the work and you still should
Whether
get the
I
equal
said
pay.
same work, whether you a female nurse and a male nurse, or whether you a female laborer and a male laborer, if you're doing the same work the same way, you should have the same pay.
You talking
I
about
agree with
the
you there.
labor. You talking about the labor. So if I'm throwing 75-pound boxes and I'm getting paid $40 an hour, you should be throwing 75-pound boxes and getting paid $40.
75, the same
I am
pay.
sorry. I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with that. Because if I am a nurse of 10 or a plus years of experience, and you a nurse and you got 7 years of experience, we might be able to do the same job, but I got more experience, so
That's
you don't
different.
get $40 like I
different.
get $40.
That's different. You added variables to it.
You added variables. You
I
added
just kept it
75-pound
simple.
boxes.
I just kept it simple. If you doing
If
the
you an
same
engineer
work,
and I'm an engineer,
and
we both get hired at the same job, then we
If-
should get the same amount of
that's-
pay.
that's
Whether
what
you're
I'm
a man
saying.
or a woman, whether I can pick up 75-pound boxes or not.
Well,
We got the same
everything is the
educational
same.
background.
if everything the same,
No, because
And you
everything
put
is
that
not
check-
going to be the same when you're not. Now
all
you're
I'm
trying
saying,
to physically compare men to women,
let
and
me,
that's not the case.
let me speak. All I'm saying, if you take the gender out and you check that box that you can lift up to 50 pounds.
Check the box out, because I think that's an issue for you. I
We
think that
talking
there's
labor.
an issue.
You're
You're talking labor. I'm talking equal pay. That's two different things.
Okay, but it still falls under the same
No,
thing.
it does not.
Okay,
It does not.
You can use nursing.
We're gonna use equal pay because whether you're a man or a woman, you should get paid equal pay for a job. If you went to school for 4 years and got a degree in whatever subject, and I went to school and got a degree 4 years in the same subject, then we should get paid the same amount. Now, if they want to start giving you some incentives because you can pick up a little extra, or you can work a little longer, or you can do some weekends, that's incentives. But if you go to school for 4 years and I go to school for 4 years, and you major in marketing and I major in marketing, and we should get the same pay.
We're on the same page.
Okay,
I
then.
agree with that.
Okay, then.
I agree with
Okay.
that. But when you start talking about working in the manufacturing, working in the warehouse, and you got labor stuff on there, that's also, like you said, you got qualifications.
That's variables.
When you fill out that application,
Variables.
If
you can do it, that's different. But that's variables. If that's gonna determine whether I'm gonna get $2 extra or whatever, if you can pick up
that's gonna
75
determine
pounds,
whether or not they're gonna hire you or not.
well, then that's it.
That's
it. If you can,
whether
if
you
lie
male
on the
or wait a
application,
minute,
that's something
whether you
different.
a male or female, okay?
Right, that's
Whether
what
you a
problem
male or female, if you can or cannot lift wherever the amount of weight is, that would determine whether or not they're going to hire you. That ain't got nothing to do with pay.
Equal pay. That don't got nothing to do with that.
But what I'm saying, in the warehouse, like I keep saying, the warehouse labor, that's part of the application. We got the same education
$100
and everything.
That's not only part of in the warehouse. That's on our applications too.
But I'm using.
But that's a variable. That's like, so if a person comes in, that's just like somebody falsifying a resume to get a job.
That would be.
That's different. That don't have the same weight as an equal pay issue. If you lie on the application, that's different. You got people that check the box and say they don't have a felony just to get a job and work until the 90 days come up and they find it. It's if you check the box and say I can lift 75 and I can't, when they figure out that you can't, then you get fired because you lied. You was dishonest. But if you are,
that's the reason why you have a 90-day probationary period.
But it's still at the end of the day, equal pay is equal pay.
I'm not saying equal pay is not equal pay, but there is some technicalities that go into that, because I look at it like this here. I'm a nurse of 34 years, all right? 34 years. I do not expect a nurse that just graduated out of nursing school to make the same pay that I'm making.
She's not going to make that. That's experience, like he said, a variable. But the starting rate for any nurse, period, when you start, we all start at the same on the same
No,
level.
they don't. No,
Yes,
they don't.
when you come out of school, we all start at the bottom. We don't jump out of school and make $40 or $50 an hour. And if they do, I don't know where they're paying them at. Because when I came out of school and already had 15 years of healthcare experience under my belt, it didn't matter. It did not matter because I didn't have 15 years as a nurse. So as a nurse, I got to start at the bottom to try to work up to where the other nurse is. I had to get 5 years before I start seeing my pay increase. I had to get before 7 years before I see my pay increase. But we all came out of school. You might have got $2 more than I did. I might have got $3 more than you did. But we all was in that bracket because the bracket is clearly stated. You're gonna get between 27 and 29. You might get closer to 29 or you might get closer to 27, but that's the start.
Okay.
So how do you feel about equal pay when it comes to athletes, basketball? I think they got a problem with the WNBA.
I think it's a mess. Honestly, I really don't know. Like some of them, like
is that negotiation a contract?
Yeah, and I think they be basing that on like somebody, because I'm not that versed, but I know they be having something like in football. There's a Heisman Trophy. So if you get a Heisman Trophy, like you the tip top, you the top notch, you're considered to be a person that's gonna come in and do the do. Right? But now, if you somebody that done got picked, how many times they go? 5th round, 6th round, somebody you done got down there, you're not going to get the same money as a Heisman Trophy winner.
I ain't talking about like that. I'm talking about like an NBA player. Some NBA players make more than the whole WNBA players. All the players.
You said WNBA?
WNBA.
Oh, it's certainly, that is a mess.
But
that
you can't make that, you can't have them have equal pay, can you?
Why not? They busting their chops too. They out there playing basketball, running up and down that court.
But isn't that a contract
the same sacrifices. Issue? They missing time away from their mom, their families. Why they don't get it? Like a few years ago, when they was talking about how their lockers was a mess, their bathrooms was nasty.
The USA team. Yeah.
That's absolutely deplorable. But the men wasn't treated nothing like that.
Right. Now the Olympics is different. In my opinion, the Olympics is different from the NBA versus the WNBA. The Olympics, everybody should be the same across the board. I don't know why the male and the female are separated. They should have them in the same facilities, period, because they both need to have everything whatever they're entitled to. Where it shouldn't be they all sharing one little room. And
it was a mess. They had cameras that went back there and showed it, and it was absolutely deplorable.
I think the difference
for women, it was deplorable.
I didn't see it. I can't comment on something I didn't see.
It was disgusting.
But if it's what you're saying, it needs to be addressed.
It was on the news. It was disgusting. It was absolutely horrible.
You talking about this time?
Yeah, just fast. Maybe last year.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago where they had it's trending. It was trending all over social media, all on the news and talk shows where they was showing how
the girls was eating oodles and noodles and the boys was eating
steaks and lobster.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's like that was the
that's
the large
discriminatory. That's what that is.
That was absolutely awful. Now, I get that
but why was that?
WNBA don't get, I guess, all these big bright lights and all these different things like the NBA gets. They don't have all these big names like Steph Curry, but those women work hard,
equally hard to get where they at,
and they should get paid more money.
The issue is the TV people. Say for instance, ABC might want to give NBA $50 million just to have a day of games.
So you talking about sponsorship?
So that money be broken down through the NBA. But the WNBA, they don't want to promote them because nobody really watches them that much. So they don't get as much endorsements. So why should the NBA break off their money to make it be equal to the females?
I think if they poured more into it, did more marketing, brought more attention to it like they do the NBA, then you would see more people involved. You see male sports figures on almost every commercial. Almost every commercial.
That is
From
so true.
deodorant to beer to cheese to chips to insurance. You see them everywhere.
But
it's
that's
not
that's the athlete making them endorsements. They going out there, the agent going out there finding work for them.
But I'm sure it can't be as difficult for them as it is for the women because they're not getting the same kind of attention. They're not getting the same kind of publicity.
The most attention they ever got is
how often are you hearing them talk about the WNBA?
That is so true because the most attention that they got is when that female was over there locked up. That's the most I have ever seen them talk about the WNBA on television through the news when that young lady got locked up over there.
Gap. I just think
it is a large gap. It's a large gap.
It's a large gap.
It is, and it's something that needs to be worked in, and that gap needs to be closed.
That's a good example, like because honestly, I just think it's gravely unfair. Although I do see more about the WNBA since they had that, since they had they showed that since they showed how the women was being unequally treated and things like that. I have seen some things change. I mean, like as far as like you see more about it, you hear more about it, you know that kind of stuff. But it's still very, very, very unbalanced. Very.
Yeah, and it still needs a lot of work and a lot of changes need to be done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So today's topic actually was about feminism, and we don't just kind of like jump right into. We kind of jump right into it.
Y'all tag teaming about.
We wasn't tag teaming. We wasn't tag teaming you. That was the statement that you was made that caused me to react.
Well, I had all my stuff. Why are we blinking over here?
Because somebody called your phone.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so we good? So today's topic was actually about feminism. And so I did a little bit of research about feminism. And I actually discovered that it's broken up into different sectors. Like there's liberals, there's radicals, there's different sectors of feminism, and they identify according to that, right? So one of the things that I discovered when I was just digging into it, because I really didn't really know, do I identify as being a feminist? Am I a feminist? I was doing some reading, and there were actually a lot of discussion that was being kicked around about feminism being close to discrimination and being close to racism, being separatist in a sense, right? And less about equality for or what is supposed to stand for, unity. Less about that, because even in the fight of getting equality, black women, we still find ourselves being discriminated against in a movement about equality for women. Because it's like, is it really about equality for all women, or the women that fit in the sector that look like what you think they should look like?
It may be a little bit of both. And
they should look like.
Well, I'll give you a good example. When I was in the workforce full time, I was a supervisor. This little.
You was racist?
No, I wasn't racist. I'm not racist.
Just ask.
I just don't like people to step on my toes. I don't give a shit what color they are. But anyway, I was training.
The shit shack is about transparency. We got to be a little bit more clear.
I was training this particular female who happened to be white. Okay. What they turned around and did was, after I trained her, they turned around and made her my supervisor.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with it? Hell, I was the supervisor. So I'm gonna train you, and then you're gonna turn around and make her my supervisor.
That happens.
No.
That's not a black or white thing.
Well, what kind of thing is
what
that?
Is that?
Because
Because I found that to be very racial,
no,
discriminatory. I
no,
found,
Racially
no,
charged, at least.
no,
yeah, to
no,
me
it's
it
not.
was.
Well, why not?
No, it's not.
Why do you say?
A good prime example. When I used to work for,
That's the reason why I stopped training people to know how to do my job.
yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Don't give up what your value is. But the problem is, I remember when I was going for the engineer, I was working for the engineer for the government. My job when I was in DC, my job was to go in and go to the workers and tell them to show me how to do their job. So once they show me how to do their job, out of each and every last one of them, later on, now I am their manager. That's the way it goes. Because the issue is time goes on, and when time goes on, education and knowledge goes on. A lot of people back when I was first became an engineer, the workforce was the older workforce. So all they was into was typewriters and just getting into learning how to use a computer. Whereas I'm coming in with the education as far as the the Fortran and whatever data service I'm able to do, so I could show them a new way that the company is moving forward to so the company can stay up abreast. So you got to show me what you're doing, so I could show you. All right, that's great. I'm your boss. This is the way we're moving to now. The company want to move to here. So a lot of people get mad. That was the problem. The big switch that I was getting a lot of feedback when I was travel to California or Seattle, and I would talk to another group and all that. That was the issue. They would be viewing people like I'm not gonna show him what he's doing because that's the guy supposed to be my boss. Okay, then you can do about it.
Well, I think what she's saying though is the person that she trained actually took her job.
Yeah.
Not that person didn't become her. That person like they wasn't like she actually took her job. Like you didn't take a person's job. Like you was the boss and now you have to learn everybody's job. But I personally believe that if you are a supervisor of a department, you're supposed to know what's going on in the department. So you need to know this job, that job, how that operate, how that I believe that that's a requirement. If you're the leader of a team, then you're supposed to know what's going on within your team. I totally agree with that.
About it, they knew when I first took the job. They said, "All right, well, we know this guy's coming in. He's going to be our boss, and he don't know this department. So we gonna have to show him." And but the thing about it, I know the basics of what's supposed to happen, so you couldn't not show me the job. So I'm like, nah, you bullshitting around. So you got to do what you got to do. But then again, those are like, no, I don't want to learn how to. I still want to use my whiteout. I still want to use my typewriter and go back and pull out a whiteout. No, you got to use this computer now. I still know how to do that.
Like having some issues with change.
Yeah, they don't want to change. I still want to do the paper stuff. No,
and I think that still happens now. We see a lot, like honestly, like even in our careers as nurses, the face of nursing has changed. The dynamics of nursing has COVID has changed nursing like completely forever.
Yeah,
like healthcare has totally changed since it was already changing, but we see now such a large number of people saying screw this nursing thing. I don't even want to do it no more.
It doesn't screw this nursing, screw this marriage, screw this
I was actually reading the article.
8 hours, 16 hours with this woman now. I'm out of here.
I was actually reading an article where they was talking about how there was such an extreme shortage of nurses.
It's always been this extreme shortage of nurses.
But since the pandemic started, they found more people changing careers. Like they are saying, you know what? I'm good. I don't want to be bothered.
I think that it was, the medical field itself brought to the forefront the risks that are truly involved in nursing or in the medical field, period. It doesn't necessarily have to be nursing. It's a lot of risk management that's in the
I
medical
agree, but
field.
it also illuminated the fact of how ill prepared we were for anything to that magnitude to actually happen.
Yeah,
I just think
absolutely.
that a bunch of the medical field people just they probably had in their mind that they like what they're doing, but they never experienced the death part of it. And once they
Oh,
start
you
I
experience
experiencing
nah
it,
disagree.
nah. We
I
experience
totally
you
disagree.
experience death
I
like
totally
from the gate.
disagree. But it was like, see, the levels was heightened. And I can specifically speaking as a nurse that worked in okay, for instance, in a facility that I worked in during the heart of the pandemic, we were COVID free. We did not have COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was the nurse that assigned, and it was, and what I loved about the management team is that they didn't move us much. So wherever you worked during the pandemic is where you worked. And
Mm-hmm.
when I came in as an agency nurse. But if you was an agency nurse and you was going to different facilities, you couldn't come to that facility. They were very strict. They shut it down. And so I believe that's why they were so extremely successful with being able to keep COVID under control to a degree, right?
Well, let me. Okay, that was your experience. My experience was when COVID initially hit. It was like, oh, you don't have to wear no mask. You don't have to put on this. You don't have to put
And I
on
know a
that.
lot of people
Okay.
a lot of
Me
nurses dealt with
personally,
that.
I
Yeah,
said, if you want me to work in this facility, you're going to give me that mask and I'm going to wear it. Okay. Other than that, I can clock out and I can go home.
but I want
But
to ask
this is
this question: do you think that some of the ill preparedness was related to the fact that nursing is a predominantly one like dominated predominantly by women? That because we or nursing, like, this is a fact, nursing is a woman dominated field. and
that's
and
true.
and
And you see, this is the thing.
we did not have a lot of the resources that we should have had. And
Hmm.
if you think about what nursing had started to change into, it's like, I think sometimes people forget that healthcare is a business. So even in those skilled facilities, those nursing facilities, things like that, the
Hospitals.
bottom line is about earning money. So if you are presenting to people that are not going to be as receptive in some neighborhoods versus others, seeing people with masks on, seeing people all with all this gear on, it's going to scare people away. And in turn, it's going to impact their bottom line.
Well,
So
you
they
know
put
what?
our lives
At
at
risk.
risk for their bottom
Bottom line,
line.
they sure did. They sure did. And a lot of people paid the price for that bottom line.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's just like, to me, nursing, medically speaking, has already had a risk factor. Because if you're working in a hospital, when a person come in through the emergency room, you don't know what they have. Okay,
That's true.
you don't know
Mm-hmm.
what they have, and there's a standard that you have to work by when they come into that emergency. You have to treat everybody like they got Ebola or some type of disease or
Yeah,
whatever.
I remember that
But
they was teaching us. They was basically teaching us like you treat everybody like they're infected with the AIDS virus.
yeah, you have
That's
to
what they.
treat
I mean,
everybody.
that was the standard then. Like
But now,
everybody have
Still to
AIDS.
be standard.
You use universal precautions and
hmm
this and that and the
but
third.
the
But
bottom line, even with that, there's a
you was getting COVID.
you still had a shortage. Sometimes you didn't have gloves. Sometimes you didn't have masks. Sometimes you didn't have this, or sometimes you didn't have that. And all of those things contribute to those people working in the medical field contracting the virus, that COVID virus. All of those factors played into it.
I think
And
those
then the
factors
other ones that want to
they did
be
play into it.
heroes, they also contributed.
I no, I mean,
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
I
some of them on. Oh, I ain't gonna get it. I don't have to wear no mask. This
I
against
think that
my
was
rights,
I, th-
and
I
you
but I
spreading it
think
to
but
everybody.
what I think there was a time when COVID
How
first
you get
came
on
out.
COVID?
I don't know, but there was a time when COVID first came out, the rumor was that people of color couldn't get COVID. So
I didn't
it
hear
was,
that
Nah,
rumor.
no, hold
the
on.
first
It
thing
was a
when it
lot.
first came out, nobody wanted to believe when Trump said
He was the
that
China boy.
it was the China man.
You know what? We're not gonna even go into that because I mean,
But anyway,
Trump ain't tell a lie there.
it really is. It really is an interesting topic to have, especially in light of the fact that we are talking about feminism, and in the event that that is a female dominated
area.
area,
And then the
and
other
then
thing,
you
you
saw
know,
a
a lot
lot
of them
of
want to be heroes. You know,
you saw
I'm
a lot
heroic.
of
You dead
um
heroic too.
you saw a lot of unfair treatments to a
Yeah, you
degree.
did. And
You
the
saw a
lower on
lot
the total
of
pole you went, the more unfairness you got.
you
That
you
you a little kind of way.
you
It did. It
yeah,
did.
yeah, because I mean
Y'all just hyped right now.
we saw a lot of a whole bunch of things happening, but not just in healthcare though. If you look at as a whole how things start to happen, women almost went back into a role of immediately taking care of the home. We automatically got into the role of we're going to be the people to preserve what's going on. The kids was no longer in school. The women were homeschooling. The women were the first ones out of work. Like it was almost like it was an expectation that was what we should do because we was the woman. Our responsibility is to teach the kids. Your responsibility is to keep the house going. Because it still is gender assigned.
Yeah, but a lot of it, what they failed to realize, those same women that was back into the home and teaching the kids and cooking the meals were the same ones that were out in the workforce, bringing the money in to pay the bills. Okay, so they lost that income, you know, and then they had to go and apply for workman compensation. All right, and then you know it was just it's so many entities that this pandemic brought to light.
I think the pandemic. I mean, to a
It was
degree,
a wake up call for America. That's what
I
it
don't
was,
think that it
and
was
we was
like
not prepared.
necessarily brought to life. I more so think that we was forced to talk about it, that we was forced to look at it because those issues, those inequalities, those things still existed. But now, because we have an urgency, we can't ignore it now. We have to look at it.
And
We
then the
have
other
to see
thing
it
that
for
it
what it
brought to
is.
light, the other thing that it brought to light was poor pay. People was refusing to go back to work.
Ooh, you better talk about it.
They were refusing to go back
You
to
better
work
talk about it.
because of poor pay. They was running their households and everything better on unemployment than when they was working.
And listen, let's not forget Donnie was keeping them stimulus checks coming. Listen, I ain't mad at you, Donnie, because you definitely was keeping it rolling.
The orange man knew what he was doing.
It was listen. The bottom line is this though. Honestly, women, just like anybody else, men deserve to be paid equally. Women deserve to be paid equally. People deserve to be treated fairly.
Yes.
And that really is the bottom line. Unfortunately, even in 2023, we are still having discussions about women being paid at an equal barrier as men, and that it's still a debate about if women gender things being assigned instead of being life skills. But the most remarkable thing about all of this is how resilient we are as women, as black women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I can speak and I don't want, the followers that is not of a black woman to think that I'm trying to discriminate. I can only speak about being a black woman.
How do you correct that?
Because honestly, my thing is like if I'm sitting here and a white woman is sitting here and an Asian person is sitting here and an Indian person is sitting here, I'm just using it as an example. They can't speak about what a black woman goes through just as well as I can't speak about as what they go through as an Indian woman or as a Chinese woman or as a Caucasian woman. I can't speak about those things because I'm not in that role. But what I can speak about is the inequalities that I have faced and I have seen so many of my counterparts face as a black woman. Because I've grown up in the culture of a black woman. So with that being said, I don't think that women as whole, like one is greater or better than the other. I only can speak of what I have encountered, the inequalities that I have faced, the discrimination that I have faced, even not only just being a black woman, but the darker you get. That's a whole nother topic. The darker you get, the less likely they think that you're pretty or that you're qualified or that you're classy or that you're sophisticated because you're not light enough.
That's true.
But at any event, the greatest picture is that we'll have a whole women empowerment movement going on, and we seeing women of all nationalities, of all colors, standing up and protesting for equality in pay, for equality in treatment, and equality just for us to be seen as more than just child bearers and home laborers and women that lay on our backs and all that kind of stuff. You understand? We deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. And I love the fact that women are empowering women. So
I look at it like this here. You know, as a black woman, we had to work twice as hard,
still do,
for the same position as our counterparts.
But I think black men encourage. I think black men. I think black men deal with the same stuff. Black men gotta work hard. They gotta work hard. If this one has a bachelor's, you better come with a master's or a doctorate, but you won't still only get with this one. So like it's. I don't know if we ever will be in a place where there's true equality, but we are in the fight. We are in the trenches. We have women that are breaking the glass ceilings on so many different things. You seeing them in technology. You're seeing them in so many amazing roles, neurosurgeons and lawyers and judges. So I believe that we have made great progress, and but there's a lot more work to be done.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%.
So we've come I think we kind of went over our time a little bit, but I want to thank everyone for joining in on the She Shack tonight. If you had an opportunity to watch us live, I want to thank you so much. And for those that do not watch us live, but you are watching us after recorded on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, we see you and we thank you. We're gonna also ask you to share our post and share our videos and like it and subscribe to our channel. All the support that you have given us, it is not going unnoticed. We thank you so much, and we're going to continue to strive to be better, to bring in topics just like these that get that's
talk about
edge.
The book club before you close out.
Oh yeah. So and we have A Queen's Book Club. We have a group actually. We have nearly 20 members that have joined into the book club. So I'm excited about that.
What's the book?
Absolutely. So actually I was gonna wait till next week, but I'll go ahead on because she asked me. So we have actually 3 books that's already up there. And the first book that we're doing is Don't Be a Wife to Your Boyfriend. Now, wives, listen. Listen, I'm telling y'all, don't be a wife to your boyfriend. I am telling you, this book is off the hook amazing. It is so inspirational.
No. Hold on. You can't just slide that in. Why not be a wife to your boyfriend?
Listen, if you want to be a wife, you wait until you're married. Don't give out wife privileges to the boyfriend. Check out that book. It is posted in
another book. Don't be a husband to your girlfriend.
I don't know nothing about that book.
Me neither.
I don't know nothing about that book.
We'll read that one next week.
But also, I guess I feel like I'm doing church announcements because we coming to the end, but I guess they call it shout outs. But on May 20th of 2023, my nonprofit organization, the V Love Foundation, has teamed up with my church family, Transformation AME Zion Church, and we are doing our first annual Community Unity Day in Dover, Delaware. And when I tell you it is going to be absolutely fantastic and amazing, that's exactly what I mean. We have so many great things and resources that will be available. And if you are a vendor and you are interested in coming and setting up a table, you can set up and hit me up in the chat. You can text me, don't call me. Text me 347-561-1365.
And I give you all the information.
And we will give you all the information about setting up a table. We only have 18 tables left. We only have 18 tables left. So if you're interested, spaces are very limited. If you're interested, please hit us up. Community Day. If you have something you want to contribute, you want to volunteer, we're taking volunteers, we're taking donations, and we're accepting vendors. So that is all of what's going on. That's our church announcements, y'all. So thank y'all so much for tuning in to the She Shake. We will see y'all next week. Good night. Bye.
Okay, go cut it off.
That was good. That was a great topic.
Remember, don't be a husband to your girlfriend.